I was talking with a friend last week about helping her students to read the Bible, and we were sharing our frustrations about how long it was taking our friends to get their heads around it, and the people we were discipling, for them to grasp the bigger story. And as we were sharing, we realised that both of us had grown up in church, but it wasn't until we were in our 20s that we'd even really looked in detail at the second half of the Old Testament. It was as though we'd read the beginning parts, and then you get to about kind of David and Goliath, King David, and then you just skip straight ahead to Jesus because you know this exciting thing's coming. And it's like when you're watching Netflix and you just click skip intro to get to the exciting stuff. But in that gap, there's almost half the Bible, and as I was reading over these parts of the Bible recently, I realised that this part of the Bible has everything to say to us in 21st century Britain. It has so much to speak into what it means to being a Christian in modern culture. This part of the Bible is a story of a people who learnt through their mistakes what it means to be the people of God and how to shape the culture without the culture shaping them. And it got me thinking about what else I'm missing out by rushing my way through life. This is particularly true, I think, as the world continues to open up after the last 18 months and we rush to get back to a sense of normality, but also rush to make progress where we feel like we stalled for so long. How quickly we've forgotten the lessons of the last 18 months and the slowing down and the stopping that was forced upon us. And I think the challenge for me in this is to embrace the process. To be okay with slow starts and trust that God's timing is right, that He knows what He's doing, not to rush to the end, but to look at where God is working in the middle. The Bible is full of stories of life taking longer than people would like to get to the fulfillment. And it's full of stories of anointing taking decades or covenants taking centuries to be fulfilled. It's full of stories of people building their houses slowly on rocks, whilst watching other people's built on sand fade away. As I was writing this talk, I had a chili in the oven and it had been there for about 4 hours. It still had 2 hours to go. And that smell of chili was just permeating throughout the house, making me really hungry. And I was thinking about this, and I could have bought a ready meal. It would have been ready in 5 minutes. And they both technically called chili. Both would have given me, I don't know, the same amount of calories that I needed to do whatever I need to do. But they're not the same thing. As that smell was drifting throughout the house, you could tell this is not the same thing. They may share a name, but that's where it ends. Peterson paraphrases Zechariah 4:10. It's one of those bits of the Bible that I'd skipped, in saying, "Does anyone dare despise the day of small beginnings?" And I know I have. I've despised the slow starts, the waiting, the process. But I know that mighty oaks don't spring up from the ground as quickly as weeds do. I know that when the Lord builds a house, it'll last forever. It might take a bit longer, but it'll last forever. And whilst we're here, let's look for God in the waiting, because He's here too, in the process, in the waiting, in the slowness. And I think He wants to speak to us in it.